Good evening. Welcome back to Mik'd Up. We are brought to you live from Uncle Earl. Today's Friday, October 14th. We are brought to you by Sterling Automotive. We have a new setup. What happened?
What's going on over there?
What's
going on back there?
I don't know what's happening. We got a new setup. We have more of the bar.
You can't
we have
hide
more
from the
space.
P to Z's, dude.
We have more space. Mitch is still recovering from his birthday celebration from yesterday. Happy birthday to Jared. Let's all give Jared a round of applause.
Hey, happy birthday, Jared.
Congratulations for turning 21 years old.
Much appreciated.
Turning 21. Hey, do you have, you probably now with your young age, since you've gone backwards in age, you probably should go try to trial for the Saints because they got no receivers for this weekend. I'd like to have that. Yeah, stretch it out. Get it going. Get it going. Big show today. Big Friday show. We have the Braves and Phillies game on TV, so you're going to get some live reaction. Aaron Nola is starting.
Me.
He is shoving. Excuse Jack. Can we lower the mic just a tad?
Like in your head?
Yeah, I can hear. I hear my. Yeah, there we go. That's better. Thank you.
Excuse any language from over here.
Excuse Jack because he's a diehard Atlanta Braves fan. He's not rooting against Aaron. He's just rooting for the Braves to win.
All things.
Right now, we got a situation going on where the Phillies are about to score a run on third base, less than 2 outs, 2-2 count. Rookie on the mound, rookie at the plate. We'll see what happens here. But big show. We have obviously the Florida LSU breakdown preview for this weekend. We didn't really get into that this week because we've had some crazy shows. Starts with some shows this week. We got through it.
Somehow it's easier at Earl's than it is to do in our own studio.
Yeah, because we don't have the other stuff that we do. You know, video calls at Earl's.
But that's what the studio's for.
You're right. That's a very good point.
You know a guy, you let me know.
I mean, we just got outlets here.
That's a very good point. Outlets and internet. Nick Delatorre, beat writer for On 3 Sports for the Florida Gators, is going to call in about 10 minutes. He is being so nice to move. I kind of like the music in the background.
A little bit of a background, catch a vibe out here,
Yeah,
dude.
I think I kind of like that. You know, this is part of the Uncle Earl's experience. You come here, you have some drinks, you have fun with us, you have some music in the background, you got sports on TV. Like we talked about this earlier this month. October is the best sports month of the year.
Best.
So spend your Friday happy hour.
So Jack is just totally checked out. Like he might as well not even.
I'm not totally checked out. I'm listening.
What
did he just say?
He said October's the best sports month. We talked about
Yeah, I
it
just
earlier.
texted him.
Okay, all right. We got a lot of music bumping right now.
I can multitask, Lloyd.
I hope so. Oh, that's what social media is.
But big show. LSU Florida preview. Nick Delatorre coming in from On 3 Sports at 4:45. He is at an event. He is nice to step out for a little bit. We're going to ask him some questions, what to expect this weekend.
Son of a bitch.
Saints receivers are all out. Tough situation.
Everybody.
Yeah, Olave's questionable, he's the one guy who I thought was definitely going to be out, but he's questionable. Phillies just scored a run on a double by the rookie. 1-0 Philadelphia. I'm sorry, Jack.
You had to score one to win anyway.
You need to score 2 now.
Yep, you gotta get score 2 now. But Saints are gonna be going after. They have Joe Burrow, Joe Cool coming into the Superdome.
It's a good swim.
There's going to be a lot of Joe Burrow fans, probably a lot of Bengal fans because of Joe Burrow from Louisiana.
Jamar fans.
I think
it's gonna be
Jamar's going home.
I feel like it's gonna be an offensive showcase.
I hope so.
I don't.
I mean, I hope for the Saints. I hope the Saints can.
There's reasons why.
You're talking about for them or for the Saints?
Both. I think both.
I mean, if the Saints put up points, I would thoroughly enjoy that.
I think both.
Okay, we'll see. Big weekend in the SEC. Bama is at Tennessee, right? I am assuming Heisman Trophy winner Bryce Young is playing because the line jumped from 7.5 to 10.5. So Alabama is favored by 10.5. It was 7.5.
10.5.
It's 10. That's a lot of points. It's a lot of points. Maybe 10 now, but it's a lot. You're playing on the road at Tennessee, a top 10 matchup. You know, we're going to figure. I don't like the 10 points. 10 points are a lot. I don't like the 10 points even with Bryce Young, but they are doing it because of the secondary of Tennessee that LSU was not. Well, actually, I guess LSU kind of exposed it in a way. We just couldn't get in the end. They just couldn't get in the end
I feel
zone.
like in the past, if you beat Alabama, it's very hard to beat Alabama with the strength of your team by far, like unquestioned strength of your team being your offense.
Yes, because you got to stop them. That's the big thing now.
I feel like to beat Alabama, you have to have a really strong defense.
No doubt. Now the offense goes extremely fast. It's extremely hard to stop. But we will. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. 10 points is a lot. I would probably say bet the under on that.
It is the to date best offense in college football.
Son of a bitch.
Right.
So.
Wow. Did you see the pimp job by Reese Hoskins right there?
Ooh,
Holy
he still hadn't touched first base yet.
Crap. 3-run homer, spiked the bat at home plate.
Now this is
absolutely
love sidebar
Go
of.
faster on the bases. We're moving.
You do realize, time out. This is sidebar of.
Well, he is 1 for 17 in the series. So
Hey, this is a sidebar of 2 outs ago, like legit 2 outs ago. Jack just said, "I hope Spencer keeps throwing like he's throwing." 2 outs later, it's not looking so good.
To be fair, it was 3 outs ago.
No, it was 2 because
1 out in the
it was 2 outs when you said that. I literally looked at it. It was 2 outs in the second, and he said, "I hope Spencer keeps throwing like he's throwing."
We'll get his ass out the game.
It's
Coach.
early.
He's
There you
fucking
go.
shitty.
One more out, next inning, one more out, and
Coach,
now it's 4-0.
This is when you get into a division
Fucking
series like
baseball.
this and you're playing a rival in your division. This is, it's all emotion, bro. Reese Hoskins hit a 3-run home run and just spiked the bat, and that is I'm perfectly okay with that.
He's been in the third inning too.
He's been struggling
Yep.
too, so
I'm perfectly okay with that. Let's get back to the Heineken headlines here. Your boy is struggling.
My bad.
That's loud. That's loud. That's loud. We got a lot of moving parts over there. I got whistling in my ear. There we go.
Better?
Better.
My bad. I should have warned you.
Better. Alabama at Tennessee. You have Penn State. Now, this is not SU. This is college football. You have Penn State at Michigan. I don't know if Penn State's the real deal or not. I don't know if Michigan's the real deal, but it's a top 10 matchup. Another top 10 matchup. We'll see. Mississippi State at Kentucky. I actually like Kentucky +4. Mississippi State's giving them 4 points. They're favored by 4. I like Kentucky +4. When you have a quarterback like they have, I know he hasn't probably been as good as they wanted him to be this
He was
year.
out last week.
Right, and so I'm assuming he's back.
I think he's back as
Yeah.
well. Will Levis. No, actually, nobody's going to be back. God, I love the emotion of playoff baseball.
Yeah, it's
Sorry.
great. Playoff baseball is the best.
It's so worth it. It has to be so worth it to get there. Yeah, that's just an all-time moment. I know it's only the third, but
No, but that-
That was
big-
very similar to the Joey Bats celebration. That was similar. I liked it. I liked every bit of it.
But with Will Levis back, it feels like Kentucky can kind of get back on track, and you just have to kind of.
It's at Kentucky, right?
Yeah,
it's at Kentucky.
I feel like that's gonna be a real good game.
And,
real good.
And you have I feel like Kentucky's defense has been kind of okay. Obviously you get their former defensive coordinator to LSU, but it feels like they are it feels like the game plan hasn't fallen that much off. It feels like Kentucky's still pretty
Kentucky
good.
seems like
It's a little Stoops game.
They're
Big
tough.
game
They're
Stoops.
tough to play. They are a physical team, right? They have a really good quarterback, but they are a physical team. That's kind of how they've kind of made their way the last few years.
A little Taysom Hillish.
Yeah.
And Will Levis.
Will Levis is a little bit more
Better
of a
thrower.
but yeah. He's a little. At one point
built-
this year, he was
he's built
projected
like it.
as a top 5 pick, and he
Built
still may
but
be.
he's more of a thrower.
Yeah,
Built
right.
different.
That game's gonna be good. I like Kentucky to cover. I'm not saying they're gonna win. I do like them to cover though. Clemson at Florida State. This is a game that I think there's a lot of interest because of Florida State beating LSU. Now listen, LSU did not look good last week against Tennessee. Looked horrendous. Looked miserable to watch. It was miserable to watch because they looked that bad. Now, with that said, they go into Florida, a road game at Florida on a team who hasn't been very impressive. That we think that you can now. Florida's favored by 2.5 points at home, which is the norm. That's the norm. When you have teams that are pretty evenly matched, 2.5, 3 points is kind of the home field advantage in college football. They're favored by 2.5, but Clemson's playing at Florida State. I'm not sold on Clemson. I don't think Florida State's the world beater, but I think Florida State could cover. I'm not 100% sure on that line. I was looking at it, but I'm not 100% sure on it. And then the last big game that I want to talk about is USC at Utah. Pac-12, probably going to be a late night game. LSU game's at 6. Maybe you watch the game after that. But, put a little money on it. It's fun to watch. fun to watch. USC's supposed to be back. I don't think they're back, but we'll see.
The thing that's happened to me with gambling is obviously I gamble on LSU every chance I get. That's apparent. I don't know why I do it, but I keep doing it. And the other thing is the live gambling aspect of all of this. I just kind of let like games start, and then I'm just like I'm gonna gamble it if I see it on TV.
Right.
Like that's where I'm at right now. Like I don't have any bets on any of these games right now, but I guarantee you I bet all 4 of like the top 25 matchups that are out.
Yeah, it's more interest in the game. That's the beauty about sports gambling is you have interest by putting money on it. Creates more interest in the game.
Live or before the game starts?
No, live.
Both.
That's the problem.
Both.
Like yeah, it is.
Son of a
it is
bitch.
both. That's Gone City.
Bryce Harper.
Oh.
Boys, 6-0 is going to be tough to come back with Aaron Nola on the ball.
Game 4, baby. Game 4. We got game 4.
Remember how confident he was when I said, hey, you got 2 aces left?
Game 4.
He was confident like 12 pitches ago. I don't
Hey,
even think
but
it was
now,
that
this
many
is
pitches.
now.
Like the way he's throwing.
He did not keep throwing the way he was throwing. Game 4 and 5 we got. Come on now. This game's a wash. Fuck this game.
Whoa.
Gotta turn it off.
I mean, you still got a lot of game left, but go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Not against
Lloyd.
Nola, you know.
Go ahead.
What was
You
I
were, saying,
talking about?
you were saying something about sports gambling.
Oh
betting.
yeah, like I wish. Obviously, we got a lot of advice from your friend that said, you want to hop on the number early. I failed to do that because I procrastinated just about everything I do. But when you get when I see the game, it's about to come on. I'm like, oh, of course I would like to bet this. And then when the game starts, I did it with UCF last night. I was like, I bet this over is probably high.
7.
And then I
John
see
Reese-
Tipple score.
7.
And I
7
see
ties.
Tipple, I think, kicks a field goal the first drive. I was like, well, they got John Rice Plumlee, and they're in these Space Cadet uniforms. I'm going to hop on the over, and that thing cashed.
That was the
within,
reasoning?
Yeah.
He went 4 passing touchdowns, 3 rushing
I know.
touchdowns.
I saw.
But I saw the
70
unis, and
points.
I've seen their offense. Like, they play on Thursday night a good bit. And so I just was like, that's the time to do it. I just hop on it now. And I live bet the under in the Thursday night game last
The
night as
NFL
well.
game?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good bet.
And that was like the one that I missed, and I was like, it already started, and the line had moved. Like they were kicking it off, and I was like, oh, it's under.
Yeah.
Get me in here before they realize we're gonna drop it by 20 points.
All right, it's 4:46. I'm gonna call. We're gonna take a 30-second break. I'm gonna call our guy Nick at his event and ruin his event for him and let him get on this call for about 15 minutes. We're gonna take a 30-second break. You're watching Mik'd Up, brought to you by Sterling Automotive, live from Uncle Earl's.
The Jordy Colada Show is brought to you by A-Bears Lawn Maintenance. Commercial or residential, A-Bears Lawn Maintenance is ready to work. A-Bears can tackle all your homeowners association requirements. Call Blake at 225-485.
Hello. Hey. Yeah, I'm just trying to walk over somewhere quiet.
Hey, I appreciate you doing this, man. I'm sorry for taking you. Hopefully it's not an event that you want to be at. If it's an event that you don't want to be at, you're welcome.
Hold on one second. Let me put my headphones in. Hello?
Can you hear me?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you much better. I can hear you much better now.
All right, cool. We're gonna come back in about 10 seconds. I appreciate you doing this.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, I won't keep you too long.
Okay.
All right. Welcome back to Mik'd Up. We're brought to you by Sterling Automotive. I am excited to introduce our next guest. It's the LSU Florida Week. There's a lot of tradition, a lot of history, a lot of rivalry. On-3 beat writer Nick Delatorre for the Florida Gators is so kind enough. I'm sorry for ruining your event, or I am you're welcome for taking you out an event you don't want to be. I don't know if you want to be there or not, but thank you for coming on, Nick.
No problem. I just hope it's not too loud since I'm outside.
No. Listen, we're in a bar right now. We do our show from Uncle Earl's on Fridays, so we got a little energy going in here. So you're good. You sound great.
All right.
Let's get into it, man. The challenges I think for Florida and LSU have been very similar throughout the course of the year, right? Like the offenses have been very inconsistent. The quarterbacks have been very inconsistent. Anthony Richardson is one of the most talented quarterbacks in the league, but he just hasn't been able to put it together consistently throughout the course of the year. What are the thoughts on him, and what are the what's the game plan going forward, and what does the coaching staff feel about Anthony Richardson?
Yeah, I think it's just frustrating because the talent and the potential, is obvious and clear. And you see the way he plays against Utah and the way he played even in a loss at Tennessee, and you see glimpses of it. And then, you get some games against Kentucky and last week against Missouri. So really, it's for him, it's just playing his game and not turning the ball over. That's been a huge issue for him this year, just turning the ball over every game. So Florida's getting a little bit healthier at the quarterback position behind him. So maybe that'll open up more opportunities for him to run. I think without Jack Miller, who had been sidelined with a thumb injury, you didn't have any depth. You had a true freshman, a walk-on, and a redshirt freshman. So maybe you weren't running him because you knew that you didn't have anything behind him if he were to get hurt, and he does have an injury this year.
What are being from Louisiana, Billy Napier, obviously a lot of people in Baton Rouge maybe wanted Billy Napier, whether he was a serious candidate or not, that is to be determined. But what are the early thoughts on Billy Napier, and what's the feedback from the fans and the players in Florida?
Yeah, right now, especially after the landing two recruits yesterday, they're loving Billy Napier. But LSU fans and Florida fans are similar. That might change depending on commitments or decommitments. But I think Florida fans in general like the direction of the program. It's very organized. He has 800 staff and analysts, something that Florida hasn't ever had before. And I think kind of like Brian Kelly at LSU, like you had to temper expectations for your first year with a coach, and then Florida goes out and beats Utah week 1, and now all of a sudden most fans are like, all right, we're winning the championship.
Fans are very reasonable, right?
Right.
Always.
Yeah.
Always. But in general, I think fans trust Billy, and they think the program is headed in the right direction.
What are the challenges LSU brings to Florida? Obviously, Florida's playing at home. They're the favorites this weekend. LSU had an abysmal game last weekend against Tennessee, a team that Florida played extremely well against. What's the feelings of LSU coming there, and what's the game plan going forward? Or what are the worries with LSU coming to Florida?
The worries are Jaden Daniels and his running ability, and Florida being able to set the edge and keep him contained in the pocket because he's dangerous with his legs. You don't often have a quarterback leading LSU in rushing. So I think I think Florida's game plan will be make Jaden Daniels beat us with his arm. And if LSU wins because Jaden Daniels throws for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns, they'll say, all right, that's fine.
Yeah, right.
He beat us then.
Listen, I hope he throws for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns. No, I'm not. I hope. I haven't seen it. I hope though.
I don't want to deal with Florida fans if that happens.
Oh, Nick, I think it's been pretty clear as you watch games this year, especially how things have gone, to be at the top of this conference, this division. Consistency in what you do is very, very, very important. What are you expecting to see out of two teams that are kind of young, kind of new to each other, playing in a game that for both of them really mean a lot towards the rest of their season? What are you expecting to see out of this game?
Well, I think in 10 years covering Florida, I've learned to not have any expectations, or if I do, to forget them when LSU and Florida play. If it's Jacob Hester converting, 40 fourth down runs, Les
41.
Miles
41.
going for it. If it's over the head, no look pass that the football bounces directly into a kicker's gut, I've learned to throw out any conventional wisdom in this game. I'm sad that when the league expands, it probably won't be a yearly rivalry. It's one of my favorite ones. It's always tightly contested. I think right now this game might mean more to Billy Napier and his coaching staff. There's so many guys on the staff from Louisiana. Corey Raymond, Jamar Jaluk, Rob Sale was there. So there's a bunch of guys I think that this game means a lot. And Billy Napier hasn't said that. We've asked him a bunch this week. Hasn't admitted it, but I think this game definitely means a lot to this coaching staff. Considering, I think a lot of them would have liked to get a phone call from Scott Woodward.
Well, that's where I was going to go. Is I think that it may be a big for Billy and those guys because they feel like maybe they weren't taken seriously for the job, but it's also big on this side because I think a lot of fans and a lot of people here in South Louisiana wanted Billy Napier to be a serious candidate for this job. They thought he maybe should have gotten the job, and they get a guy who maybe on the surface wasn't as popular as Billy Napier. So for the coaching staff here, it's like, shit, if we go out and we drop the ball and we lose and Billy comes in and beats literally head-to-head to the coach that got the job over him, I think that it's going to be I don't want to deal with the fans just the way you don't want to deal with the fans if Jaden Daniels throws for 405. I don't want to deal with the fans if we lay an egg and it's not a good game. But from what he did at UL, as far as build the culture and create a winning environment there and bring in the talent that doesn't usually get to UL, are you seeing some of the same things that he's doing out there in Florida?
Yeah, I think it's just maybe on a little bigger scale.
Yeah.
Like Florida will have more resources than UL. I've seen some pretty bad offensive lines at Florida, and I think Florida is one of the only schools, if not the only school, in the country that has 2 offensive line coaches, and Florida's offensive line has been fantastic this year. So from that standpoint, from having all of the analysts and people that are handling, recruiting and NIL and all this stuff, I think just the structure of the program is something that I hadn't seen and he's my 4th coach that I've covered at Florida, so it's something that I hadn't seen here. So if that wins football games, maybe not. But, right now it seems to be, at least a well-run machine.
You speak about the coaches and the coaching staff from there. I have a pretty extensive history with Corey Raymond, being from the same hometown, knowing him a lot. Can you speak on the job that he's done there so far and the job that he's being asked to do as basically kind of a level up from the job that he had here?
Yeah, I think, well, first off, I still haven't gotten used to seeing him in orange and blue.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd see
you and me both.
You and me both,
yeah.
brother.
I think he wears more black with like a Gator head logo than an orange or a blue. But but I mean, his resume speaks for itself, and I think he's probably not doing anything different, at Florida than he had been. Florida has an unbelievably impressive defensive back recruiting class, and then you look at how the defensive backs are playing now, his quarterback specifically. They've been good this year.
Right.
So I think you're probably getting the same Corey Raymond that you've seen, for a decade at LSU. But yeah, Florida fans are certainly happy that he's on this side of the rivalry now.
I'm not.
But
that's just me.
But
I speak for myself.
So you speak about the defense, you speak about the secondary. LSU, Florida has been able to basically just be a kind of a one-track mind team, right? Like they've struggled. Y'all have struggled throwing the football. They run the ball extremely well. LSU's strength on defense is their front seven, is being able to stop it. Now, obviously, last week there were some big holes with the Tennessee offense. What challenges does LSU's defensive front bring to Florida this weekend?
Yeah, that's interesting. I think that's strength versus strength.
Right.
I mentioned Florida's offensive line already, and we'll have to see if Osiris Torrance, starting right guard, plays. He's questionable on the depth chart Wednesday. I think he will. Florida, I think, needs to run the ball. If you watch Billy's teams at UL, they kind of ran the ball to set up the pass. And if you have a quarterback like Anthony Richardson who's struggled to be consistent passing, he threw the ball over the yard in Knoxville, but you don't get that consistently. So I think they need to be able to run set up some play action, to set up some other things. So I think at least early, you might have to make some halftime adjustments. I think at least early, Florida will, try to go in and establish a run and establish some kind of presence there.
Has a lot been made? I don't know if they've asked this already. I was running around kind of connecting some stuff, but where's the state of like the Florida program in comparison to the LSU program? Or how do you view LSU coming into Florida? I guess is the way I want to ask this. Does LSU feel like a threat at all? I mean, obviously your favorite at home against an LSU team, and everybody knows how wonky this series has been. But I'm just wondering what the thoughts of like actual fans are of LSU at this point in the season.
I think fans are cautiously optimistic. I mean, the LSU team in 2020 was probably the worst in 20 years. And then the fog rolls in, and you throw a shoe and you lose at home.
They explain college football in 2 sentences.
you go to LSU with a bad taste in your mouth. The following year, NO was already fired, even though it wasn't public yet, and you lose. So I think Florida fans are optimistic because they think that Florida has the better team. But you really never know what could happen in these games. So I think there is, losing 3 in a row, especially the way the last 2 went down. Florida fans, would love to see a 50-0 game tomorrow. I don't think that's going to be the case. I expect a one-score game, a close game, going down to the wire.
That's kind of what I want to get to. Look, I hope LSU goes out there. I just hope it's a really good game. I hope both teams have fun. No, I'm just joking. I hope it's a really good game.
I hope everybody competes.
I hope it's a really good game because I do not like to watch games that are very one-sided the opposite way. But to let you go, I know I don't want to keep you too long. I know you're in an event. What is your score predictions for this weekend? And then I'm going to let you go and enjoy your weekend.
I think I did 31-27 Florida.
Okay.
Whoa, big over.
Big over. I've been terrible picking games, but I've been fantastic picking over/under.
Okay, well, I love that because I am taking the over LSU, and I have not been very good picking the games, but I'm with you. If you're good with the overs, I'm good with that over. I'd like it to be flipped.
Flip my pick.
I would like it to be flipped, but I'll take the over.
Well, if it goes under, then I blame you. It wasn't
okay.
Me.
Deal. That's deal. We can talk that through after.
The winner has to go on the other person's show.
There you go.
Or loser.
There you go. There you go. Nick, man, I appreciate your time. I know it's tough to get out on a Friday, but I appreciate it, man. And good luck this weekend. And hopefully we can have you back on.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thank you.
Hey, first successful phone call at Earl's?
First successful. I'm taking my earphones off.
So I'm sorry. It's a new thing for me, too.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
New food for me.
You almost blew my eardrums out a few times.
I did. How? With what?
Wow. But?
What did it?
I don't know. You took them off and you went back up, and then these mics pick up everything.
Everything.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. It's okay.
What?
We got through it, though. We got through it. I think he's pretty spot on, though. With the way the game is kind of being played out, right? Like both teams are very similar right now, right? I think LSU is in a different position in Florida in the sense of like.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Actually, I don't know. They're pretty similar.
Hey, I'm gonna be honest with you. Just even going back to my beginning of the season predictions, right? This game scares the shit out of me, just because I know what it's like playing there.
Right.
There's still a ton of buzz there, so it's not like they're not bought in.
Not as bad as Auburn,
team-wise and fan-wise. Yeah, it's not the same. Auburn's tough.
Yeah, tougher, right? Tougher.
But like,
ton of.
I do think I think we're all in agreement here. Like, it doesn't really matter if they run the table from here. It's going to be very hard for LSU to quote unquote get into college playoffs.
Yeah, and I don't think that's the expectation.
That's not all right. Exactly. That's not what I'm saying. So my point to it is, I think it becomes. Because of the 2 losses already, it becomes really tough to get people to show up and actually get top quality work out of them for the rest of the year here if they don't show well here.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
I think this is very paramount to their season in a sense of you want to make this a successful season, you have to go out and play well and damn near win.
No doubt. You have to win this game. If you want to
And I
make,
think
if
that-
you
and
want this
game
season,
scares me because from the start I already knew like this would be a tough.
now both teams are going to be a little bit in the desperation. I don't want to say LSU's desperate because I think that the expectation of this season wasn't as high as.
I think they're as desperate as you can be as a team.
Right.
I think they finally understood. Hey, heart, want.
Yeah.
That only takes you so far. You
gotta
have to
execute.
you have to execute too. You came in here, you played. You had a top team come in here that executed, and you were out of the game before the second quarter started.
Yep.
In a way, really.
And then you don't want. Florida's trying to avoid losing 3 straight.
Yeah.
LSU's trying to avoid
Having
losing
their
their
third
second
loss.
straight and having the third loss of the season. So both teams.
Third
are
loss of the season. You still got Alabama. You still got
Ole
A&M.
Miss.
You still got Ole Miss. Like
Right.
it could get ugly from
No
here
doubt.
if you don't show
No
up.
doubt. Now
and
you
win
go
here.
and beat Florida. You said it. Lloyd said it before. 5-2 looks a hell of a lot better than 4-3.
No, it
You know what
does.
I mean?
So crazy how the numbers been that.
Yeah.
perspective.
And that's what I say. What I mean, like I feel like I'm saying this every week. There's always a huge opportunity in front of you.
No doubt.
But I think for this team, it's very, very paramount for them to understand. Like this goes for a long time for the rest of their season, whatever the ending of their season is.
You have the SEC every weekend, right? Anybody can beat anybody. That's kind of been well documented. That's been, any coach in the SEC says the same thing. Listen to Kirby Smart when against Missouri, like all of that, right? But you go out there and you go and you beat Florida on the road, and you have your second SEC win on the road on environments that are historically very tough to play in. I think that goes miles to changing the culture and changing the mindset of the locker room, right? Like you just got your ass beat in an early morning game at home to a team that is good. They're ranked in the top 10, but a team that I would assume that they don't feel that they're not 40-13 better than LSU is what they probably feel like in the locker room, right? So you go out there and you make the adjustments and you go out and you play well against Florida and you beat Florida on the road. You come back 5-2, you play Ole Miss, and everybody knows how LSU and Ole Miss kind of go. Ole Miss has just been now recently, a number, but like you have Ole Miss at home, you have a chance to win that game, right? Like
That's always usually a good game too.
Right, but you have a chance. Like it's not a team that like historically just beat your brains in. So I think this is a momentum game. I think this is a game that you can, if you win this game, the 8 is a no-brainer. I think the 8 wins is a no-brainer.
See, that's where I think that's where you get to 7 and you're just happy.
If you win the game, if you win this game at 5 wins, I think you get to 8. Based off of the momentum and the confidence that this builds. Like, dude, you go on the road after getting your ass beat and you go out and you beat Florida. Like, that is huge. I mean, right? Like, wouldn't that...
I told you, dude, I expected them to steal. I said earlier they had to steal one somewhere. I expected them to beat Tennessee. Like I did. I'm being straight up, and I was dead ass wrong, right? This was a steal game from me from the start. I knew this would be hard. I knew this would be the start. Well, the Tennessee would be the start of a very, very tough stretch for them. This game goes a long ways. Like you get blown out at home by Tennessee. Say you go on the road and if you don't play well and you get beat, it's hard to come back and play an Ole Miss here.
Yeah.
It's hard to follow that up with an off week and play Alabama here.
Yep.
It's hard to keep going like that.
Yep.
So it's a huge game for
It's
them.
a momentum. It's a jump
very
starter
big
for the
game
rest of
for
the year. And this could. You go out and you get. I'm not trying to be over dramatic. I'm not trying to, set a stage.
It's not dramatics. It's not selling it. I just don't I don't think people understand outside of the building enough that there is a certain urgency you have to show up with week in and week out.
No doubt. And this is my other point to it is if you go out there and you beat Florida after you just lost an embarrassing type of game on national TV, then you go on the road again on national TV and you beat Florida on the road and you actually look pretty good doing it, that can jumpstart you into it. Like that can expedite the process of this reprogram, like I like to call it, not a rebuild, right? Like this can expedite the process in the sense of, hey, you go out there and you go and you win your 5th game on the road against Florida and you come after and you rebound and you come back. You have an opportunity to say, okay, we're not as far off as people think that we are. Next year could be in a little bit different situation and it could jumpstart you to a lot better year to end the season. So I don't know. I mean, there's a lot, man. One of the things that we do need to see is we've got to see some consistency on both sides of the football, right? Like you've got to see the offense kind of get in a rhythm, which in turn allows the defense to have rest, and you need the defense to have some big stops.
I'll just say this too, because I agree with you here, but this brings me back to the conversation and the thought that, I saw this. I saw on Jordy's show that I sat down and talked with Rohan and talked with the other guy about
Coach Klasky.
About
Coach
the
Klasky.
play. Yeah, okay. So I didn't. No disrespect. I just didn't know his name. About the play of Jaden Daniels.
It's called Kasky's Quicker.
And saying like those are game-winning plays that he didn't make and this and that. I'm like, I get it. I understand it, but I don't. I think I think we're fooling ourselves if we're asking Jaden Daniels to come here and win games in and out with his arm, right? For me, if that guy can keep us on schedule, which I think he's done a good job of, we should be better on offense.
Right, I agree. Now, I do think that there are some throws that, like, one of the throws they highlighted, right, now is me and Jared.
They're not wrong about
right.
that. Like, everything about that video is right. I just don't think that I don't think you're approaching this team right if you're asking him to win you games.
No doubt. But you would like for him to at least attempt that throw.
I agree.
Right? Like,
I agree.
Because we talked about it before, right? Like, you played high-level quarterback in high school. You were a 4-star wide receiver. You came to LSU. You understand reads as far as, hey, what do you read the safety when you have? Huh?
4-star?
4-star.
Top 100.
Top 100, Coach.
Les gets buried more and more every time I hear something like that.
Top
like,
hundo.
Top hundo. Oh, that's well.
We didn't
He
throw
was
it.
a
Maybe he
dude.
could run down on kick.
Yeah.
He was a dude.
Maybe he can block.
I played a game of receiver in high school. It was fun though.
Maybe,
Yeah, he played
maybe he can block.
Which, by the way, if you're wondering, Jared Mitchell was a left-handed baseball player, but he played quarterback right-handed. So
Trying to figure that out.
Take
That was
that.
fun too. That was a good
Take
time.
that. But my point is, as a quarterback, right? The two simple reads two of the reads that you learn first as playing a quarterback, even in high school, is, hey, okay, you're going to read the cornerback. If he stays low, you have these two different routes. If he stays low, you hit the route behind him. If he goes back, you hit the route underneath him, right? That one. The other one is the safety. You have a guy coming in front of the safety, you have a guy going behind the safety, you read the safety. If he sits down, you go over the top. If he goes over the top, you have the guy in front over the linebackers, right? To me, as a quarterback, the easier read for me was that safety because you knew that he didn't have any help over the top. And so it was just a very simple read, right? That was the read that they are highlighting on the Cats clears, and that's what I.
And then here, the only reason why it's my drawback.
And
is
that's what I
because-
want. That's what I want.
Yeah, it's because you're asking that to be his read. Well, for us to affect the safety, it takes what?
Say again.
I need time.
Oh,
If I'm in
well, no, but that
and I'm
that
not
play
saying-
had time.
I'm not saying he's not getting time on that play.
Yeah.
You're missing what I'm saying.
But he's never
I'm
getting
saying
time.
you're asking a guy that's had happy feet, that knows his feet are the most important, or I say the best part of his game. You're asking him to stay there and,
No, you're right.
and bank on time
You're
with
right.
a young offensive line. That's not. If we're asking him to do those things, we're not really putting him in the best situation to win a game. And I'm not saying he shouldn't be making these throws. I'm just saying if you're sitting here saying we're relying on this to win, we ain't gonna win. I don't think that's where we're at.
At the end of the day, especially in college football, these kids, young men, are human beings. Like, they're not machines, right? Like, you can't. Things that have happened in the past, whether it be not having a lot of time and getting hammered in the pocket and causing you to have happy feet, like, those thoughts don't just easily just leave your mind, right? So, like, you have sometimes you're like, okay, well, those things like creep in my head. Like, I have an internal clock, and maybe a little quicker than it should be because I haven't had the trust to be able to do it.
We also have to understand, like, you're sitting here and you're talking about humans too, and it's understanding and knowing a guy's strengths and a guy's weaknesses, right? Mm-hmm. If I sit here and I think about Rohan Davey and his entire career, his strength was not taking off and running. So he knew he had to hang in there as long as he could.
Right.
So that stuff like that became a real strength for him, right? And the other guy knows I'm athletically gifted. If you're going to pressure me, if you're going to keep putting people in my face, I'm out.
Yeah.
So it's getting him to, I guess, curtail that a little bit and understanding how to hang in there longer. That stuff doesn't happen overnight.
Well, it's come to the point where you have to play to his strength. You have to play to the man's strength.
And that's what I'm saying.
They don't move
that's
him
what,
out the pocket
that's,
enough.
That
They
is
don't
that
do
is
anything.
that's the only reason why I'm saying is they're not wrong at all about that video and how they broke down what he's doing. I just think you're
That's
gravely
not what he's good at.
I think you're gravely mistaken if you're thinking you're going to win games on those plays with him.
Yeah,
I think that's crazy.
Fire Mike Denbrock. It's fucking terrible.
No,
Him and Polian. Get the fuck.
that's gonna be oh, you gotta cover that. You gotta cover that. You can't get in trouble.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's good. Hey, that's savvy. That's savvy right there.
Sorry, Jack.
I'm looking at this. I
can see it. It's right there.
Okay, good.
I'm looking at the record.
I don't want to see that,
thought
Coach. I
about
don't want
it.
to see that. What are you talking
I
about?
didn't realize the record, the all-time record between Florida and LSU was 33, 32, and 3. Like, I thought
didn't
Florida
realize
would
that
be a
either.
lot.
I didn't realize that either. I don't know if I wouldn't have guessed it. I would have guessed it decently close, but I didn't realize it was that.
I mean, I would have guessed probably like 10 different, 10
Yeah.
wins different. You know what I mean?
Why?
Like,
We're a better program. We're way better.
I mean, Coach, we had a stretch where Florida was
being sarcastic.
You know, Steve
Yeah,
Spurrier,
I
Florida
know.
Gators.
I
Yeah,
know.
that's kind of where I was going with that. But you know,
What are you talking about? Those
1997
Les Miles LSU
1997
Tigers,
happened.
baby. What are we talking about?
That Les was not the problem in the LSU Florida series.
No, Les was only the problem whenever everything changed. Whenever the offenses in college football changed and the way the defenses attacked the offenses, like
You mean
whenever
when they
that
stopped
happened,
running
that's
toss
when,
dives and stuff?
yeah, when you can't run
When
the
they learn
toss
how to stop
dive,
that.
and you realize you're going against Alabama, and you can't you have to
We got to
figure out
get
how
that
to.
ball in his hands
Like-
quicker so he can see the defense.
That's what
Like-
changed. That was when it was Les Miles.
Like T-Bob said, did we think 4 different toss dives were going to beat Nick Saban?
Oh, I always love, like, whatever. You can think whatever you want about Les. I always loved the explanation for that. I always thought that was so funny. The real reasoning that I remember we used to run that toss dive was because we wanted to get the ball in the back's hand so his eyes could be up to read. I'm just like, bro,
Yeah, too
man,
much.
if y'all don't hand this thing off and stop playing.
Too much. I'm going
So
through.
wait, are my eyes up when I'm
trying to
when
catch
I'm,
it?
when I'm getting this, I'm like this. I don't really know that it happens that way. So whatever. That's just me though.
I'm looking at some of these quotes that Brian Kelly and some of the players had interviewed, right? And I don't know who asked this question. I kind of touched on it a little bit. I don't know who asked this question.
We have our guesses.
And I'm not guessing anybody. I have no assumption. I have no idea who may have said it, who may not have said it. But they said it. And Jeray Jenkins was asked if he celebrated Kayshawn's first touchdown with Kayshawn. What kind of question is that? Why are you asking? Are you trying to create a narrative that, like, hey, people, like, either one, Kayshawn's not bought in, or the team doesn't like Kayshawn? Like, why would you ask, like, a receiver in the receiver room with a guy who's been there for multiple years if he celebrated with his teammate who just scored a touchdown? To me, that is fishing for an answer. Now, it could be out of context, but that's how the
To
quotes
me,
were.
I don't even think that's fishing for an answer. I think that's fishing for a reaction.
Storyline.
No, for
Yeah,
a
for an
reaction.
article.
Not an answer, for a reaction.
Like, to me, that's just.
But when you get the negative reaction there, it's I can't believe he attacked me like that.
And Dre, I mean, obviously, Dre Jenkins answered it very well. He's a senior. Like, he did what he needs to do. But, listen, hopefully, Kayshawn scoring a touchdown last week jumpstarts him to have a great second half of the season. Like,
that was the better part
be
of the
great if he
quote
had
that
3
I
tomorrow.
thought.
that was the better part of the question, right? Like, is this going to jumpstart him? But, of course, they celebrated with him, man. Everybody's happy they scored a touchdown. Like,
Kayshawn-
Everybody's happy they scored a touchdown, period.
yeah, get out of here.
Like, come on.
It's that part of the game where it was over. You know, it's like that was a nothing touchdown in terms of the scoreboard.
But it
you
might
get
have been a
Kayshawn-
something touchdown in terms of Kayshawn.
And Kayshawn, you get him on track because Kayshawn's like a streaky like golfer almost. Like once he makes one, he might make 5
I was about to say,
in a
I think
row.
we're all in agreement here that the more involved he is, the better off the offense would most likely be.
Steve Ensminger knew that.
I am of the camp where, Jared, I'm kind of with you, where it's, and it's not so much far off from Jack, where it's, I mean, we're watching, you can see the Jalen Hurts highlights right now if you're watching ESPN. Like, you have to play to your guys' strengths. It comes to a point where you're I was saying
They changed that entire
entire
offense for the
for
Eagles
him.
for him, and now look at what he's doing.
And
Their
LSU,
coach is a genius.
LSU is half stepping. They're either going, all right, we want to run all this through Jaden Daniels, but we also want to get in our playmakers' hands. All right, you can still run the offense through Jaden and make it extremely easy for him to get the ball in the playmakers' hands. You literally saw it happen against you when you played against Tennessee, how easy offense can be if you scheme it up, not only scheme it up right, but use the guys that you have on your offense to an advantage and your quarterback skill set to an advantage. Like,
Yeah.
they're overthinking it to the point where you're almost handicapping the guy because he doesn't know what you want from him, and now you can't take him out because everybody's seen what Nussmeier's done. But you're also in the same vein, they're calling for Nussmeier because they want him to do what Jaden Daniels doesn't do well.
Right.
But Jaden Daniels gives you the best chance to win.
Well, and here's another thing Brian Kelly was talking about, right? Everybody's talking about the offense this, the offense that, play calling is bad, play calling is this. The offense last week, as bad as LSU was overall, the offense from 20 to 20 wasn't terrible. The offense from 20 to 20 gained yards. Now, they couldn't score touchdowns inside the red zone, and they didn't execute on the big plays they needed to execute, right? So Brian Kelly was talking about, he goes, when you analyze the game film that like us coaches do, you look at, okay, how are we 20 to 20? How are we moving the ball consistently down the field? Okay, I think we did okay there. How are we inside of the 20s? So backed up deep at our own end zone and going in to score. They weren't very good at inside the red zone last week trying to score. They got inside the red zone twice. Did not help. Well, one for sure in the first half. The other one was the drop pass by Jerry Jenkins. But they drove down the field and they were not able to answer and finish drives, right? And for me, and he kind of touched on it, and like we talk about the offensive coordinator, I think there is some issues with the offensive coordinator and the play calling. Now, Brian Kelly came back and said some of these issues are not necessarily the play calling. It is the way we are executing these plays in these critical situations. He's talking more about third down and fourth down, which I agree with because some of the play calling wasn't necessarily the problem. It was just like, hey, you're not one, we're not blocking. Maybe we're not blocking the way we're supposed to now. You missed your star left tackle. Or two, you're not reading the right. You're not making the right read.
Okay, so then let me ask you this question, because for me, I think something like this is huge. If I ask the question of through 6 games or what you ever thought about him before, what is Jaden Daniels not good at? What do you think he's not good at?
Probably. I mean,
what do you think or not even not good? What do you think are not his strong points?
Sit in the pocket and going through multiple reads.
Okay. So if I'm asking you to sit in the pocket, I'm asking you to take time. If I'm asking you to survey and go through multiple reads, I'm asking you to diagnose this thing. So good coaching to me is to put him in those situations as least as possible. So let's not
get him comfortable first doing something and then say, okay,
put him in those situations as least as possible. Stop asking him to take so much time there. Stop asking him to make these I want to say complicated but deeper reads. Give him easier stuff to where he can get some time, or you can manipulate the time he's going to have back there.
At some point, though, you have to be able to hope to have some shots down the field, right?
That's what I'm saying, to where you can manipulate the time he has back there. Make these shots easier. Make these reads easier, which means you have to start affecting the safeties more. They have to be able to start moving their feet more. If you're not getting them to do that enough, it's not going to make a difference.
Here's the one concerning thing to me, right? Now we've had LSU's 4-2, right? So 6 games have been played this year. This is the first time you're starting to hear him say, maybe we have to move the pocket. Maybe we have to start protecting with 7, some things like that. Maybe we have to less is more. Maybe we have to make things simpler for him to be more effective. To me, one, yes, all of those things. But 2, like once he starts coming out and saying that publicly, it makes me think, okay,
you did try to make him fit.
Yeah, now you know this guy. Like now we've kind of admitted that this guy maybe isn't as advanced as far as the way we want him to be. Right? This is the first time to me you're kind of admitting it without admitting it.
Okay, but like that's where we want every quarterback to be. I just watched the game last night that was 12-7, and neither quarterback was there. One of them was a Heisman winner, and one of them was damn near an MVP in the league. True, so like we're not saying anything.
Quarterback position is very hard.
We want them all to be there, but that's not very realistic. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't happen that way. You got to put him in the best situation for your guy to be successful back there.
Do you think LSU runs the ball better this weekend? I know Florida, which is very weird, because they normally are unbelievable defensively, but they can't stop the run. They're 115th rated.
Wow, they got a guy back there that's like 500 pounds in the
Yeah. And
Mount Cody Part 2.
we watched LSU go against a team that is 128th in the country in pass defense, and we saw how that worked out. Now, we did throw for 300-plus yards and all this stuff, but do you think LSU is able to run the football? Is Armani Goodwin going to be back?
Armani Goodwin's not back until Ole Miss.
Okay.
That's the word on the street. Brian Kelly did an update yesterday, updating all of the injuries, including Seven Banks, Armani Goodwin, and Major Burns. But Armani Goodwin seems to be the key to this entire offensive run game. Like, they don't trust John Emery enough to keep him.
They definitely don't trust Noah Cain. I don't know. Like, they don't like him at all. They don't like him at all.
But it goes down to, like, you would love to see. Like, everybody wants to see John Emery play. Like, it's almost like the Great White Buffalo, where you're like, every time he does something electric, like, oh my God, like the run against Auburn where he shucks a linebacker off of himself. Instead of getting a 4-yard loss, he gets a touchdown. You're like, well, put him in the game, but he can't do the simple things right. It seems like the coaching staff doesn't trust him, so you're stuck with a walk-on with a scholarship that is a good player and does everything right, but that's not an SEC running back at this point. Like, if he makes it in the NFL, he's going to be a special teams guy. Right, he's not somebody that you can give the ball to 20 times. Like, he might pop one at any moment. Yeah. That's Emory, but you can't be too predictable on offense where if you're subbing Williams in for Emory, it's like, oh, it's a pass play. Like, that's where LSU is right now. So Armani Goodwin was kind of like that mix of both. I thought Noah Cain was going to be able to do that, but it seems like they don't trust him at all. And that's why I can't trust the run game unless – I mean, how many times has Jaden Daniels been your leading rusher on the football team?
We were 6 in. I'm going to be honest with you. You're going to have to show me at least 2 straight where you're running the ball. I can't go into a game trusting our run game right now.
But they also can't – that's why this game feels so wonky to me, because – what LSU does well, or what it perceives to do well, is they're able to run the ball, and the game plan that they had against Tennessee, don't replicate that. Don't bring that shit back out, because
you didn't even try.
You forced everything. He was obviously uncomfortable, and it just threw off the entire tempo of your offense. Like, we talk about scheme a lot. Like, there's ways to do it, but not like that. Like, don't force deep shots.
Our scheme
stinks. Just what you really have to do is you just got to get Jaden comfortable and allow him to make easy throws, and the run game will come after that because he's able to run off of that.
Look what Tennessee did. Tennessee didn't start trying to run the football. They ran the football because they were spreading everybody with the passing game.
So much pressure on your defense.
Yeah, and they went so fast, so they were able to open up these holes naturally, not forcing the running game. Now, you do need a run, right? The Florida running game is bad. Here's my question that I want to pose to y'all and any fans of LSU listening. When LSU and Florida started the season, right?
I thought it'd be exactly here.
Yeah, but listen, you had similar situations as far as whole new coaches, whole new staffs, whole new culture kind of bringing into the thing, right? Florida, everybody was super high on Anthony Richardson before the start of the year because how talented he was. Oh, we have a quarterback. This is going to be the year. Look at what Billy Napier did at UL with the quarterbacks they had and a guy who could run and throw, but this guy is supremely more talented, right?
And then you come into LSU game against Utah.
Right. So then you come into LSU and you're like, well, LSU doesn't know who their quarterback is. We didn't know until a week and a half before the season started. You have Jaden Daniels, who has started for 3 seasons but has been very inconsistent. People weren't really sure what to expect, right? Then you go through the year and you're like, well, Jaden Daniels is the issue. Jaden Daniels is the issue. Now, I know they're not happy with Anthony Richardson, but my question is, would you rather be LSU right now with the quarterback that LSU has, or would you rather be Florida with the quarterback that Florida has? Because everybody was so gung-ho about Billy Napier going over there right now.
That's a good question.
But here's the thing. Let me
put it on the poll.
See, I think you know what you get out of Jaden. You don't know what you're going to get on a given Saturday.
Because here's the deal: the ceiling is higher for Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, but
the floor is extremely like it's a wide range. But here's what you get: Anthony Richardson has 5 touchdown passes this season with 7 picks, averaging less than 200 yards passing a game. Right? That's total for the year, cumulative for the year. Right? Now I know they've played Utah and they've played Tennessee, but they've also played some other teams. Right? Jaden Daniels' stats aren't even close to that. They're way better than that, right? Jaden Daniels has 1 turnover.
And it was in dead time.
And it was desperation time when it didn't matter. It didn't
last
make it.
throw he's made so far this season.
And it wasn't even a bad throw. It was a better play by the defender than it was the throw.
In a tight game, they're talking about the defensive play more than anything.
So that's my question, and that's my question to y'all. I know you're putting
Which one would I rather?
Yeah.
Jaden.
No doubt. All day.
If you told me I had Anthony Richardson and I could sit him for a year and a half, 2 years, and let him learn, and hopefully he actually did that, yeah, I'm taking him. But as far as for what I'm going to get
as of right now, the situations that are going on right now,
what I'm going to get this season, I'm taking Jaden.
I like Jaden. I don't
but
how he fucking thinks what I care.
Right.
But just because of the style that LSU is trying to play right now, Jaden's not going to be able to survive the season. If that's what you want to do to be able to win games, Anthony Richardson at least can take the bruising of we're going to run it 20 times.
I mean, he's
just bigger.
But they haven't. But Nick said today they haven't been running him as much because they have the quarterbacks because they don't want to get hurt.
The way I viewed the question was I'm putting Anthony Richardson on LSU. And if
you got to keep him in Florida.
Oh,
yeah, I'm talking about situation.
Quarterback in his team.
I'm saying, would you rather on LSU's football team Anthony Richardson or Jaden Daniels? And for what LSU's doing right now, I think Anthony Richardson fits better because if he's going to run it like that, I'd at least rather him have a bigger body.
See, I disagree. I disagree.
Because if
I
you
really
take
do.
the same thing we just had and we're running the same thing we had, he might have 10 picks right now.
Right.
With
Like
the same running
he's just
ability.
too turnover prone for me to say, you know what, if this is the offense that you're going to try to run and get through the season with, you need a guy who cannot turn it over.
Because just like what you just said, we're really talking about 2 running quarterbacks.
No doubt.
So we ain't changing the system if he was here.
But
We'd be in a worse spot.
I think they are guarding a little bit against calling designed runs for Jaden just because of how
They should be guarding it for both
185
of us.
pounds. Like he can't
Okay,
They should be. I agree. They should be doing it.
Right,
Yeah.
but I'm saying if you have Anthony Richardson, who's 220 pounds.
But wait, I think that's a good point. You brought the same point. It's run the same system. That throw, I know it's like kind of picking out the bad, but that throw that we talked about that Jaden didn't let go, that Kayshawn was open.
Anthony lets
that son bitch go. And it's probably a touchdown. Like those kinds of throws. I mean, we haven't picked apart the film, but like how many of those throws AR can make that Jaden won't let go?
See, but that's the problem, man, because there is a happy medium. Like, okay, Anthony lets it go, but how many other ones would he let go that don't come back to us? Right? That's why he's got the 7 picks and the 5 touchdowns on the season. So we'd be all like, oh, that's a great pick. If Anthony's here, we'd be saying, that's a great pick, but if only we could coach the mistakes out of him. Well, that's still the same problem at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So if you're talking about one play, but one play doesn't make the game, one play doesn't make you a better quarterback.
But I have a question just for conversation purposes. Is it easier to coach him to throttle back or to let it go?
I don't think it's easy to do either one of them.
It's not easy to do either one.
And I'm not trying to be like in the middle. I just don't really think it's easy to do either
But
one. I said, and I truly believe, you have to understand who you have. And you can't try to make who you have fit into your system if he doesn't fit. You need to fit the system around him.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure we're doing that yet.
Oh, I agree. I was just asking questions.
And that's not a LSU thing. That's a wide thing in football. That's a widespread thing in football, period. You know?
Oh, I agree. He's definitely not playing to anybody's strengths on the offense right now. He's just not doing it.
Yeah.
But I was just asking these questions for conversation.
Listen,
purposes.
if they have a play this weekend and Jaden Daniels drops back and he surveys the field and he sees the safety come down, he goes over the top and he hits the pass over the top, I am going to be extremely excited.
I think they would be too.
That's what they've been waiting on. Right? That's been what they want to do, right? So it's going to be a good game. I don't think it's going to be like last week. I just don't think either team. I just don't think Florida has that capability of saying, "All right, we're going to go and we're going to put our foot in your throat and we're going to crush you." Like, I just don't think they have that ability right now to do it. Now, unless LSU is turning the ball over and 4 or 5 turnovers, like that whole deal.
I don't see it being that either. And honestly, I'm not trying to be funny. The only way I can honestly really see that being that way on this end is if LSU was the one that actually blew them out. And I'm not trying to say that to be a homer. I just think they really, really, really got a piece of humble pie last week and understanding that we are not that different from them physically. And they blew us out of the building. So
our own building.
Game's over. The first thing that's talked about is execution sucked. And you got to be better with that. So I think that's been hammered home a lot this week. I don't know what's going on in that building in Florida.
Well, here's the next comment. We've already talked about how nobody has expectations on making the playoffs. I don't have expectations of LSU making the playoffs by any means. Right? I don't think that they went out the season. That would be the ultimate homer biased conversation. But the greatest thing you can have, really in sports and like life, anything,
is a chance,
is hope.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you have no hope for anything, LSU was 2-5, 2-4 right now. There's no hope for anything. Season's over with. Now it's all about playing with pride, and that is very hard to do every day in and day out to motivate your team. Hey, we got to play for pride. You got to play for pride. That is hard to do, right? But LSU has 2 losses. One's at a conference. One's in the East, right? They go out and they take care of business the rest of the season, which I don't think that they will win every game. But my point is, if they do, they put themselves in a situation to win the West. I don't think we're going to win the West. The whole point of this is there is still hope. Like, you can still preach the hope
for something.
to play for something. You go out and you take care of business and you beat Florida this weekend and you get back on the map and we play at home against Ole Miss, against a division rival, like the same part of the division, the SEC, and you beat them and you have a bye week against, and you get to play against Alabama at home. Like, there is still hope to be able to go in there and Brian Kelly say, hey, we still have the ability to do everything that we need to do that we set out to do at the start of the season. And that's important.
Well, you do, but you don't. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. To win the West,
Now, Alabama may lose this weekend at Tennessee. If they lose this weekend at Tennessee,
they would
for
still
sure.
have to lose to someone else too, right?
Say that again?
Alabama would still have to lose to someone else too. It doesn't matter what you do just in the West unless you have the same record as someone else.
But that's my point.
Yeah,
If you
yeah,
beat
yeah.
Alabama, you have the same.
So I know. So my point to it is still at this point right now, you don't control that right now. You still can't do that unless Alabama loses another game.
No. Because if you beat Alabama, if you're both 7-1 or whatever and 1,
Yeah, but
and you beat Alabama, you have the head-to-head. That's the difference in your division.
Well, if you win out, yeah.
That's my point.
Yeah.
But that's my point. I don't think that. But my point is there is hope. Like, you can still preach that hope of saying, hey, you go out there and you win this game. We have the ability to do everything that we set out to do to start the season. I don't think that they are going to do it. I'm not saying that LSU is going to go ahead and win out and win the SEC West. But as far as a motivation for the coaching staff and for the players to continue to stay buy-in, there is still hope there.
I feel like we're having two different conversations from my brain that I haven't said yet. I think it's the opposite. Because of how LSU started, the fan base started to.
I'm not worried about the fan base.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Like, I'm just coming from. You're coming from the locker room perspective, from the fans' perspective. After LSU started off the way they did, and I'm not talking about the Florida State, but being 4-1, and which it felt like
Finally got ranked, which is great. Then that's where LSU, like, you're used to seeing that, but I've been there before, whatever. Like, I remember 2000, 2001, when you're like, oh my God, you see a number next to. Remember 98, 99.
Yeah.
2000, 2001, I think they were ranked.
No, that's what I'm saying. When you start seeing 25 and 23 next to their name, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh my God, LSU's ranked. Like, this is so exciting. But I feel like after that happened, the expectations grew to a point where it's.
Yeah, but that's all fans. That's how it's going to be.
Like, do you not remember? Like, thank you, sir. Do you not remember? Like, it feels like every fan forgot that the ceiling for this team was 8 wins or 9 wins. Like, and then you get to a Tennessee matchup where you're 4-1 and you get your doors blown off. Like, obviously, I don't think it was as bad as the score indicated. But this is the ride you signed up for. This is the ticket you bought.
No doubt, and that's why.
So stop overreacting.
And I guess I'll say this too, if I'm thinking in terms of inside the building, you're not wrong, and I'm pretty sure that was probably mentioned, right?
Because you know how coaches work. Like,
No,
you need something to be able to push them
forward. It was probably mentioned, but I do think that there's a way, way, way bigger emphasis right now on not so much you still control your SEC West destiny. It was probably mentioned, but more so in the sense of like, hey, I don't think it needs to be said, but we understand what the Alabama logo has meant the last 20 years of college football. If you want to be able to compete in that game, what you just put on film last game can't show up.
And that's
So that needs to be the direct emphasis on, hey, you got to be better than what you were last week. And you got an able opponent to go and do it against this week. You show up and you play well this week and you get stuff done, then we can move on to the next one. And then hopefully at that point, after a bye week, we're sitting there looking Alabama in the eyes like, this will be for the West. But I think it's very, very, very far-sighted.
No doubt.
And that's why I said I think it's probably brought up, but I don't think it's something that they can harp on right now.
No.
If you want to keep the guys in the building.
Right. I think it's important to look at it game by game, right?
Yeah.
But you also preach, hey, you have to go. You go and win this game. Like, just because we lost 40-13 to Tennessee at home doesn't mean our season's over.
Yeah, like I think it should be brought up in the sense of like maybe there is a 19-year-old kid that doesn't understand that that's still possible. Oh shit!
For sure.
I didn't realize we can still win the West.
I mean, dude, how many times have we been in the
done.
team meeting room at LSU and the whiteboard comes out and Maneri starts putting on everybody's schedules and everybody's records and all the teams that we have to play and scheduling it out and saying, hey, this is still possible, this is still possible.
Yeah.
And the only reason he's doing that is saying there's still hope to be able to get to where you want to get to. And I think that's important as far as motivating a team, especially a team with a bunch of new guys and a team with a bunch of with a new staff. We ain't losing 40-13. I can tell you that. That's not happening.
It's not going to be
That's
4
not
to
going to
13.
happen. That's not going
If
to.
there's anything we know about this series, it's going to be close. What we talked to Dana McRae, I think he was in maybe the last blowout that LSU played in against Florida, right?
Probably. I don't know. When was the last? I don't even know.
Oh
when
no,
the last-
they got boat raced one more time.
It's been I don't know.
But that's what, well, to my point. The series is always close. Like between LSU and Florida, it doesn't matter. Like
Right.
it's a literal rivalry. I would imagine. I don't know if that's how y'all viewed it. Was that?
Florida,
Yeah.
Alabama, Ole Miss, Arkansas. You could pretty
Oh,
much
you even put Auburn in there.
Auburn too. Yeah.
I mean, the whole
Those
West.
five. No, like those five, really. And now, I mean, you can honestly probably add A&M in there.
I feel like A&M is probably somewhere
Well,
higher on
that's
the
what I'm saying, now
chart.
you can
Yeah.
add
Well,
them.
they weren't-
But
he wasn't there.
they were never in the league. It wasn't a thing then. But I think it's weird to say. It's like, that we're literally just named 6 teams, but I think those 6, like,
That's
you went into it knowing this is going to be a barn burner. And
Yeah.
then even if you blew them out, you're like, oh shit, I didn't expect
Which is
that
what
to
makes
happen.
the SEC so tough. Right? That's what makes the Southeastern Conference so hard. I'm looking at these numbers, man. LSU's red zone offense ranks 78th in the country.
Dinky.
Red zone offense. Now they score touchdowns at a 70% clip, which is at 37th in the country. So it's not awful, but you're not scoring enough. Like it's not
Well,
happening.
that's because
enough.
we've played 5 games and we've been non-existent in the first half, so I'm not surprised at all.
That is very true. That is very,
How
very,
many
very
field
true.
goals do you think they've kicked? LSU.
How many what?
7.
Field goals.
4.
5.
That was close.
How many what?
Field goals.
They've kicked this year? 5.
5.
1 a game.
That's what I'm saying. Is
Ish.
which I don't think points to like woes in the red zone. It points to this team is all or nothing. They're either, and I think maybe that played into a little bit of why they were going for it so much. It's we're either this train's rolling and it's let's score a touchdown because momentum, tempo, Jaden feels good. Let's keep going, as opposed to all right, we're inside the like they never really feel like they do like a. I don't know what the red zone numbers are, but it doesn't feel like they're in the red zone all that often.
Yeah, no,
I mean,
they're
they
not.
haven't been.
I said 20 to 20. 20 to 20, but it's hard to get to that last part, the red zone part.
It just feels like they score from, like outside the 35 every time. And, like whenever they're in the red zone, it's just not as, the offense isn't as consistent as you'd want it to be to where you can drive down the field, get inside the 10, get inside the 5 and finish a drive. It just feels so labored, especially when the ballpark gets smaller.
Well, here's my question too, and I want to ask you this question. We always talk about the passing game, right? Offensive, we need to throw the ball better, we need to be more efficient, blah, 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 right? Well, obviously, we can't run the football. And we talked about play calling needs to get more creative to go to the strengths of your quarterback to be able to throw the football. How do you get creative in the run game to be able to create more holes and more opportunities for the running backs to be successful?
So, for me, what I'm seeing now, what I'm watching a lot of now is what was the basic way of running the spread run game, where there is a lot of basic read off the end without any motions, without anyone else affecting the end. And the way that was played back in the past was you get the block down by the tackle in front of you, the end is crashing and squeezing that hard, his shoulders are turned. That's easy. That's an easy read. That play has changed these days. The ends are no longer crashing as hard.
Right.
They're keeping shoulders square to the line of scrimmage. That read is not as easy. And so we haven't been as effective there. When you watch good teams that run the ball well now, there is those fly motions. There is those fakes. You don't know if that guy is getting it. It slows you down. It slows your feet down, which opens a hole. And I think if we can put more of that stuff in, put more of these jet sweeps, and not from the under center, the Matt Canada way. I'm out on those. Put more of these jet sweeps.
I think
Put more
all
of
of
these.
Pittsburgh's out on those.
Put more of these catch, throw it out to the bubble screen a little bit, stuff like that. You have to be able to get these guys kind of going a little bit horizontally, and I don't think we've done a very good job of that right now to affect defense.
Because when you get them to go this way,
Opens up holes.
you can put your foot in the ground and you can go the opposite direction. You get them going one way, you go the other way, right?
Because you're good athletes in space.
Right.
What?
And you can't beat teams.
How hard is that to implement like in a week? If you're on offense, like if they're like, hey, we want to run like fly motion jet sweeps.
I mean,
I'm asking
it's not
you.
easy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's a reason they haven't done it.
The verbiage of calling a play and putting these motions in a lot. It's not hard for me, and I'm not saying anything, but I know there's people that is just like, I forgot what Zach motion means. I forgot what zip motion means. You know, like that's whatever you want to call it. You know, like it's tough. These type of motions need to be, for the most part, I would think, a good part of your offense. You know?
Well, because they do a little bit of like, I wouldn't call it orbit, but where you see like Kayshawn come in motion, stop, chop his feet, and come back around, where it feels like you could fake a bubble, do a quarterback draw, or throw the bubble,
but let me ask
hand
you this.
it. There's so many things.
Yeah, well, the reason why I'm saying that is because let me ask you this. All right, you said there's been a good bit of Kayshawn doing that.
It's just a distraction.
How many times have you seen him actually get the ball doing it?
None. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly. So, like, we're 6 weeks into it. You don't think they have those percentages down on paper? So, as a defense,
that's a decoy.
I don't even know what the number is. But when I see Kayshawn in motion, there's a very low percentage he's getting the ball. So I'm not really that worried about him. You know what I'm saying? Like it becomes this is just window dressing, bro. You out the way.
And maybe that's a better question: is how much harder would it be to use that same things that are built into the playbook, but to make a play call
put it
off
like
of
this:
that?
we saw this happen. We saw. And this is another reason why I say it's hard. It's not even just the play calling of it, but we saw us try to use fly motions where we're snapping it right when the receiver gets at the end of the line of scrimmage to kind of create some kind of a mesh point. And what happened when we saw that happen? When we tried it last game,
Fumble.
we had a fourth down play where Kayshawn ran into the butt of the tackle because we didn't let him clear the tackle to be able to snap the ball. Those things take time. It takes time.
And that's the fourth down play, which is a gotta-have-it play, which is a play that I imagine they practiced all week. If that's in that little square on the play sheet that says fourth and short, we're going for it, you probably have, 5 of those starred? And that was one that they had picked out that said, we've run this well in practice, we know how to do it. But who did he run into? Freshman right tackle. Like, that's the stuff that you can't account for in a game because they haven't run it live, in Tiger Stadium. Oh, we're down 10.
And this is one of those things, too. Like, and I'm not in the building, so I can't guess. I don't know how that goes, man. Like, I don't know. But maybe when you saw Kayshawn run these things in practice, maybe he's running these motions at a different speed. Maybe no longer Jaden's looking at him, and I've seen him run this play 10 times already. I know he's usually there by now, and all of a sudden he's not there because he's tired. We've gone down. Maybe he's faster. Maybe we move the ball down the field. He's tired. He's been on the field for 8 straight plays. I don't really know, but this is the little details that matter. They just do.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to say it. They just matter.
Speaking of freshman tackles, we're getting our freshman left tackle back. Thank God. You got Will Campbell back. He's cleared all his tests. He's back healthy. Look at the Braves trying to make a little run here on the air. Catch the ball at first base in the inning.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
All right, let's talk about lines. Let's talk about the game. We're talking about.
Speaking about language.
Yeah, I know. So we're talking about LSU, Florida, right? We always do the score predictions. We haven't really nailed any of them yet this year, right? It's been a very weird year.
Wait, have we? I mean, I couldn't tell you one thing I've predicted on here.
Well, we've all predicted wins, and the games that we've predicted them, we have not gotten them.
Oh, I didn't do Tennessee yet. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, you went for Tennessee. Okay, here we go. LSU Florida line opened at 48.5, right? The over-under. Over-under 48.5. It went up to, it's at 50.5, right? 50.5, so 2 points. I'm going to listen, Mik'd Up Full is the promo code that you use with the Caesar Sportsbook app. Please download it. Risk-free bet up to $1,200.
Keep going.
It's at 50.5. I'm gonna go against what I'm taking the over. It's also Florida is also favored by 2.5.
LSU money line in the over would be a salty ticket.
I think I kind of like that. I think
you
I'm
would
gonna
be
do that.
so happy. Well,
I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna put a little sprinkle. I'm not gonna bet a lot of money on that, but I'm gonna do it just for the simple fact that I want it. I want it to happen. What do you like? Do you like any of those?
So you know me, and you know how I gamble. I look for the number like you're supposed to. So I did. I recapped my bets earlier today, but I will look them up again real quick. Let me get to the Caesar Sportsbook app. My login is my face, so if you want it to get all of my credit, you'd have to cut my face off, but you don't have the technology or the steady hand. But I did LSU and 2 teasers. I teased them with Alabama to get LSU up to 10, and then Alabama to Alabama to just minus 1.5 points. No, just to minus the half a point, excuse me. So all Alabama has to do is win. LSU just has to not lose by 10 to get that. Odds aren't too bad. I believe it's 25 to win 20. Not too bad. And then the other one teaser I put it with, LSU with Kentucky, and I think Kentucky plus 9 and LSU plus 9. So they're both on the same point spread if I remember correctly. I got the Alabama line before it went up because I think Bryce Young's going to play.
But it's not at 10.
It's not. Is it 9.5?
It's at 8.
Yeah, I think it's going to keep rising because I had a guy from Alabama, Hunter Hall, shout out, texted me, DM'd me and said it's like, I guess he was looking at it. Probably he's in Alabama, so I guess he was looking at like the Alabama sports books, and it's up to 10 over there, 9.5, 10.
Yeah, but what's Alabama sports books?
No, but I'm just saying that'll probably, if it keeps going that way, there's a chance that moves like popular consensus to where it gets up to that point because it feels like Alabama knows before the country knows.
Yeah. I do like the Arkansas under 66.
Me too.
I like the Arkansas.
And who?
Arkansas and BYU. The over-under opened at 49.5.
And
It's at 66 now.
Wow, I like that.
I like the under of that, right? Here's another one.
How does it go up that much?
I think that's
crazy.
KJ Jefferson's probably
It's
playing.
not worth 17 points.
But here's the other one.
Well, I guess after last week you might be.
Here's the
Yeah,
other
he might
bet.
be.
Good Lord.
Here's the other bet that I like, and it's not a big game, right?
It is to you if you
And
bet
it's
it.
only because I've like read a few articles recently. I don't know why I was so inclined to read these articles on this team.
This is what you do instead of working the document?
Yes.
This is for the document.
This is empty your
Literally
right
for
now.
the document. Tulane is 5-1.
Willie Fritz era.
One of the best defenses in the country. Top 15, top 12 defense in the country. They're playing South Florida, who's 1-5. The over/under in that game right now is 55. I like the under.
South Florida almost beat Florida.
Tulane's favored by 12.
Oh, wow. So that means the under is very plausible if their defense is that good.
South Florida covered
What
that
did it
at
start
Florida.
at? Do you know? Did you go to scores and odds?
The over/under started. The line started at 10. The line is 12.
The total.
The over/under started at 54.5. It's only going up a half a point.
That's a good thing for us. I'll take it with you.
I like the
All right.
under.
All right. I like that call. Look at you, little Mikey research.
I told you. We all see what happens when I do the research.
I know.
I haven't done enough of the research. When I do it, I do well. I do well.
There used to be a time when Mikey had a.
Would you do that today?
What?
That research.
I literally read 2 articles throughout the course of this week on Tulane just because they kept popping up on like my feed, and I'm like, damn, Tulane's like the 10th
Where'd
rated
you place
defense in
the
the
bet?
country, and I started,
When'd you place the bet?
today.
He waited. Smart man.
I got the extra half point.
I'm on it with you.
I like
What
it.
was the other one you said?
Arkansas under 66
Playing some totals? Double unders?
and LSU over 50.
For all you CrossFit
so LSU,
folk out there?
LSU, I like LSU over 50.5. What about y'all? Y'all like any? Or no, y'all? Am I gonna be the only degenerate this weekend?
I'm
Well,
here.
I
me
mean-
and you.
I mean, I
planning on
can't. I
doing some
can't
live
put
Yeah, but
money
what do you
on it.
like? Because you get to put your hand in your pocket bet and you can always win.
I'm
because
planning
you
on
don't-
doing some live betting. So now I
Pocket
haven't
bet
heard
of the
that.
week?
I think.
Huh?
Pocket bet of the week?
No, not
Pocket.
him.
No, for Jack.
For Jack.
I think Mississippi State covers. I wasn't ultra
Ooh.
impressed with Kentucky against Ole Miss, and I think Mississippi State's honestly better than Ole
Kentucky.
Miss.
Well, quarterback makes a big difference.
He was playing against Ole Miss. He didn't look very good. I'm not saying he can't. I'm saying he might go out there and
Maybe.
have a great game because he's capable of it. I just
Listen,
think
He did
Mississippi
get hurt
State's
in
a
that
better
game too.
Yeah, the finger picture was that game? Yeah. I don't know. I think
what?
I think when
He had the
when
sideways
he
finger.
broke
in that
his
game.
finger.
It wasn't on his throwing hand, but
I thought
Distracted.
you were
I think
talking
Mississippi State
about
covers.
I thought you were talking about the
All right.
Giants. in
I think they
London.
go on the road. You know, they might have learned something from their experience at Death Valley. They go in there and cover.
What do you think about Clemson at Florida State?
Florida State wins.
Oh, you think Florida State wins?
Yeah.
Florida State wins.
Okay, so-
I said this before the show. I think this is Mike Norvell's signature win, and he might not ever get a win like this again. But I think this weekend he
If
can.
you take Jack's bet of Florida State winning, the
Right now.
money line,
Right now.
it's plus 155.
That's not. No, wait, that's not.
That's not even
That's
that big.
not as much as you would think.
No.
That is,
Now the
that's not
line
nearly-
started at
DJ
Clemson
Ugashidi.
favored by 7.5, and it's now at Clemson is favored by 4.5. It's going down 3 points.
The Florida State defense.
I don't trust DJ, man. DJ Ugashidi. That's what I think.
DJ Unga go lately?
Damn.
Ugashidi.
Yeah, I'm
Florida
not even
State
gonna
was
try it.
rolling, and they lose 2 in a row.
Oh no. I know.
Norvell.
I know. Tough.
This is UCLA all over again.
Tough.
God damn it.
Um,
You're not good.
Here's the deal right now, though. We're gonna
Fuck.
flip the script. I probably should start betting on some of the Major League Baseball playoffs, huh?
That's what I've been waiting for.
I know you're riding with the Phillies, coach.
And look what's happening.
They're doing good for you. You ain't putting money on them.
I can't believe you're
I
not
think you
betting
should
on
put a
one
lot
of
of.
your
Hey,
best friends.
Mikey, I think you should put a lot of money on them to win games 4 and 5 if they win today. That's what you should.
Well, here's the deal right now. I need Philly to start getting a little offense moving because
He had six.
six.
coach.
No. Listen to me. This is how these playoff games work. They scored 6 in the first 3 innings. They haven't scored in the last 3 innings, right?
Auburn 17,
Braves-
LSU 0.
Braves scored a run on a fluky play. First baseman dropped the ball. They got one. Odorizzi's kind of dealing
We're
a little
about to
bit
go
right
on a
now.
run.
Hey,
I need them to have a little bit more pressure on the Braves. Maybe add one more run to be
I was
say,
about to say,
okay.
and all
Especially
bets are
with their
all
bullpen
bets
so
are
bad.
all bets are off once Nola's out of the game, and he's
Yes.
not out yet.
Yes.
How many pitches has he thrown?
He's around
37,
7.
27?
He's around
That
7.
wouldn't shock me.
Here's
He's
trivia
around
question.
80, I think.
Did any of you realize that Noah Syndergaard pitched for the Phillies?
No.
No.
He threw the other day out the
I
pen.
found out the other day.
You didn't know
the
that?
pen?
Wait, you didn't actually know that?
When did he
He's
get on
been
the
there all year.
Phillies?
Actually, I did know that. I
He's
did
been
know
there all
that. I
year.
did know that, but I hadn't seen him. Like
thought he
I
started
guess
the
I
year
hadn't.
with the
I hadn't
Angels.
watched.
Hurt.
Yeah, I hadn't
He
watched.
got traded really late. Like,
Yeah.
really. I mean, like,
Deadline was it a deadline deal?
And
I don't know. I feel like he's been there all year with the Phillies. Not
I
deadline.
thought he
maybe
started the year
not.
with the Angels, though.
No,
I could be wrong.
I'm almost positive. Like when I say
Well,
really late, like
he
before
must
the
have come
season.
over. He must have come over with the Marsh deal. Marsh and
Maybe.
right?
Maybe that wasn't it.
And he's balding. That nobody wants to talk about it, but because he's supposed to be Thor. But once Thor starts to lose his
God.
hair, it's like Samson in the Bible. If you don't have that anymore, it's kind of game over for you.
Me and
coach.
Jay Mitch met Noah when he was 18.
I do.
How'd he look
I have
then?
a very good off-air story.
Very good off-air story.
I'm not gonna tell that one.
Very good off-air story. Not gonna tell it on
I
air.
bet he did fine.
We have 5 minutes left. You're good.
Yeah,
5
plenty
minutes
of time.
left.
Floor's yours.
Yeah,
5
no.
minutes left.
Happy birthday, Jared, by the way, yesterday.
you.
Happy
Thank you.
belated.
Yes,
I
happy
was on
belated
CPT,
birthday.
my bad.
Again.
Me too.
We let off the show with that, but he was throwing up because he's hungover.
Yeah.
Don't lie, Jack.
All right. We went through all the score predictions for
I'll
the,
go
for
grab
the
the
weekend.
trash can.
Don't.
Before we get to the segments.
Okay,
Hard
over
out.
under is 50.
Where?
50 and a half.
LSU.
Yeah.
Score predictions. Over/unders at 50
And a half.
and a half.
23-17 LSU.
Was that?
28-24 LSU.
23-17 LSU.
23-17 LSU.
28-24 LSU.
Oh, you don't think they're going to hit the under? The over.
27-21
But I'm gonna bet it.
if they show up and play LSU.
What did I say? What number did I say?
23-17. Isn't that what you said?
Yeah.
Or 21-17?
I think you
I'm
said
gonna say-
21-17.
Yeah, 21-17 I like way more. They're not going to kick a field goal. They just haven't proven the fact that they're going to do it.
I like.
Atlanta has some momentum.
Huh?
Atlanta has
I
some
know.
momentum.
I like
Live bet.
LSU.
No shit.
I like LSU
No way.
31.
Whoa! 17.
I like LSU 31.
Seven.
Y'all think it goes?
What? I can read
Wait,
people's lips.
I wanted to
Let's
say
say-
I wanted to say
let's say-
31-20
I have a question.
because I want to believe that LSU is going to run the ball and at least control the clock to where Florida doesn't have an opportunity to like score a bunch of points. But I think that's a little bold.
I have a question.
You
If
can't
there
rely on
was
the offense to do that.
Right.
If there was a prop bet that this game goes to overtime, would you take it?
Yes. Because it's going to be massive
I would not.
odds.
I wouldn't take it. I wouldn't.
Oh, you wouldn't sprinkle if plus 5,000. You wouldn't
I
sprinkle
mean,
on
it's
it.
not going to be that. Maybe it would be.
Yeah, it's going to be something like that. I've gotten so good at the Caesars app, it's unbelievable.
Good.
And Hash not. Okay, prop bets, double result. I never knew what that meant. Will there be overtime plus 835? I mean,
You said plus 5,000.
oh, well, it's okay. So,
A little different.
That's a little different.
It is,
I mean, we're still
but
winning
I
some
mean,
money here,
835 is great.
Yeah, that's great. You're going to sprinkle it in
but
there. It's not going to go
plus
in overtime.
5,000.
But if you parlay it with the Tulane under, It's plus 1685. So now we're making
Still
some
not
money.
plus 5,000.
Still not plus 5.
It should be. It's hard to predict it. Yeah. Okay, y'all all laugh. Well, I'll take it.
But we might quit next week if he wins this fucking
All right,
parlay.
$12
let's
wins you
let's go through the
$112.
Let's go through the seggies.
Put $1 on it.
Through the segments, right?
$5.
Not my fault. Brought to you by Dozy Place.
I have a couple.
I know you do. That's why I'm doing it.
Thank you.
I'm
Thank
getting
you.
you back on track.
It's about time you did your job, Lloyd.
That's
God
right.
damn it.
Sorry, I've been skipping out on you fellas. Look at this document. Let me get to the bottom. Okay, I got a couple not my faults. I feel like.
Helps a lot.
Does anybody want some of these, or should these be?
No, it's a
curtain
one.
calls?
Just pick one.
All right, I'm gonna go with the Alabama quarterback Ty Simpson liking tweets right after the Alabama A&M game where they're all calling for him to be the starting quarterback, and he's literally on Twitter going through liking every tweet. But the best part of it is that the Tennessee Volunteers message board, like their version of Tiger Droppings, found the tweets. So my fault, not my fault for Ty thinking, because you rarely think about your likes on Twitter. You're not thinking that somebody's going to go back and go through your entire
I think about it all
like.
the time.
What are you liking?
Nothing. I'm just thinking, like, man, like, what if I was scrolling and accidentally clicked the heart on accident and like something that I.
Well, these were obviously intentional.
Well, right. But I think about it that way. It's like, damn, I gotta go.
But maybe this is just me and my age, but I've never gone back. I don't go to people's profiles
me either.
and
I
go
don't
through
do it
their
either.
likes. But this is a whole new like ball game for me, where you can go into.
Listen, you can't do that. Like, you may think you need to start, and you probably maybe you should start.
He's
but,
electric.
Like, you can't do that, dude. Especially a guy in your own like room, quarterback room, like.
Especially
That's
when
not a
you
good
know, like Twitter likes are public, like it's right on your profile. It's
Yeah, that's not a
tab of
good.
what you
That's not a
liked.
good look.
It's not like there's a setting to hide it either.
Right, but I think he was in the same, like.
I think he took it as more of like he's liking that the support for him instead of dragging the other guy down. But you got to think of like how the general public's going to take him liking that before he decides to hit that button.
Yeah, I don't like that. No,
I don't like it.
Don't like it. Can't do that.
No, it's not like or dislike. It's my fault. Or
It
not
is.
my
It is
fault.
his fault.
It's his fault.
100% his fault. There's nobody else's fault.
Lloyd
about it.
thinks opposite, so go
Yeah.
ahead and just tell us why.
I just
Nobody
think that
else's
who's
fault.
going through my likes? Like,
Well, I
he
mean,
obviously feels a certain
I mean,
way.
it's public
you did
knowledge.
it.
Good.
You did it. You did it.
Anybody can go through them, really.
You did
Right.
it.
But he's
Hell,
doing
it
it
pops
because,
up on your feed that you liked it
I mean, there's a
sometimes.
guy. Oh, they just pulled Nola.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, this is a great live bet opportunity for you, Mikey.
Hot Atlanta.
Now your boy's out the game, so you don't have to worry. You don't have to worry
Who's
about your
coming in?
feelings.
It's the lefty. I think,
Doesn't
I saw?
matter.
I think it's a lefty.
It doesn't matter.
All right, let's go to
But-
curtain calls.
Curtain call, and I think this is. I can't really show the videos.
Curtain
on
calls
here.
brought to you by Frankie Harris at Shirt Partners.
And not my fault. My fault. Brought to you by.
Dozy Place already said that.
I just wanted to reiterate.
All right.
Because we don't have to sign up today, so I wanted to make sure the
That's
boys
right.
get
We
the
don't
phone.
have time. We gotta figure out. We need to put that on the
Forgot to
front.
I have a couple. I'm not gonna do the one I want to, or should I?
Do the one you want.
About Alvin Kamara.
I can't see it. Oh, I thought you were gonna do the midnight yell.
Oh, okay, I can do that one. Absolutely. Curtain call to whoever at A&M has finally had enough, just enough of the midnight yell practice, because they called in a bomb threat on Thursday to Kyle Stadium, and they're just like, maybe this will last for 48 hours and we don't have to be on midnight yell anymore.
Well, I guess
They do
tonight.
it. They do it tonight.
They do it tonight.
But I'm hoping that, not hoping, well, definitely hoping that they get everybody out of there.
It's
No,
not
there's
a
no
real bomb, though, yeah.
and they have to do midnight yell. And I cannot wait to see the jokes that come out, because they're definitely going to do some sort of bombing jokes about who are they playing?
I don't know
Sports
who they
show.
play this week.
I don't know who they play.
Sports
this
show.
week
But they're definitely going to work that into the midnight yell. Leaders are going to work that into a little comedy routine. And it has been probably some of the unfunniest things I've ever watched in my entire life, that it
I'm
makes
with you.
me almost feel like,
They're on a bye week.
There we go. So no yell practice today.
oh,
Curtain call
perfect
just
time
got.
to blow the stadium up.
Yep.
Wrong week,
So
jackass.
they were trying to do, I guess they're trying to be safe.
Maybe they were just trying
If
to
you're gonna
cancel the
blow-
Yale practice. Like
Well-
if they're like getting ready to like do something, practice their skip for the next week or something.
Well, this
I
turned
was
into
gonna-
an opposite curtain call. You picked the wrong week, jackass.
Well, I was gonna say maybe they were gonna blow up the stadium responsibly, which is a curtain call. Nobody's gonna be there.
I don't
We can
think
demolish
that's-
Kyle Field without
Good
anybody
pivot.
there.
Nice pivot.
Thank you.
My curtain call. I don't know if anybody's seen the Netflix series Redeem Team.
I watched it
Right.
the other day. It's great.
I watched it last
Wait,
night.
don't you mean Dahmer?
No, not done.
Are you watching it?
I'm not watching it. But
I'm
the
not
Redeem
watching
Team,
it.
right? My dog's namesake, Kobe Bryant.
It really was a Kobe love fest.
They have a
It's
lot
unbelievable.
of.
A little too much.
I mean, not really. I think that they're highlighting him, and he's the whole reason why they
you seen
became
it
what
too?
they.
No.
He's the whole reason why they became what they became. They don't have Kobe Bryant. They don't do what they did, right? And so, him going right through Paul Gasol's chest,
It's
That was
unbelievable.
in just the way that. And I want to I'm not a huge LeBron fan, but I do want to give a shout out to LeBron because it highlighted LeBron in a different light than I've seen LeBron. And LeBron was very good for Kobe in that moment. And I think it kind of
Spurred some change in
that
him.
year changed Kobe's trajectory of like where he was going. Because at that
And his
point,
public
nobody liked
perception.
him. Completely changed his public perception. So shout out to Kobe Bryant really in the Redeem Team, but the Redeem Team for highlighting that.
I'll build off of that.
Of all the things that LeBron has done in his career, that's what he's given him.
No.
props for.
I know how good of a guy. I mean, I know how great of a basketball player he is, right? Like,
And
Go.
guy.
but like that's just I haven't seen
goat.
that side of LeBron. You only see the serious on LeBron and do the things that like that. For me, it just
Are you talking about the
try to get the attention sometimes, and like you don't
Kobe?
need that. Like,
ISO.
Bro, they're all divas. Every
no,
single.
But it's
every
not
single,
even. It's not. I know that. I'm just. It's like I got poked in the eye and like made the whole thing like. Then he comes out and says, "Oh, I didn't think I could ever play basketball again with the sprained ankle that I had last year, but I
Hey, he
came
said
back
I'd
and I toughed
never
out."
be
Like,
100%.
you don't have to say. You don't have to say that. You know
And I'll
what I mean?
never be
Like,
100% again.
that's too much. Anyway,
I think they
that
stick a
is-
mic in his face a lot more times, but I'm not gonna highlight that one. But that's just me.
he's a great player. He's one of the
He's
the best of
ever.
all time, right?
He's the best ever.
I think
Like-
people take him too seriously. I think he's
Yeah,
joking
that
like
too.
a good bit.
And maybe, but that's what I haven't. Nobody has seen that. I saw on the Redeem, and I changed my perception.
Oh, so
little
Kobe
bit,
helped
but-
change your perception of LeBron.
No, the Redeem Team helped me change. The documentary did.
Good,
But
good. All right, good.
I'll build my curtain call off of his because the documentary made me think of this. Because I thought they were going to show it, but it was after the whole Redeem Team. When Kobe cursed out that guy at the free throw in Spanish, and they didn't think he could speak Spanish.
Oh, Tony Parker?
I forgot who it was, but he cursed out somebody in Spanish at the free throw line, and LeBron had to tell him to like chill out because he was about to get kicked out. And I thought it was funny that they didn't know that Kobe could speak Spanish, and then all of a sudden he just cursed him out in Spanish.
So
I thought that was awesome.
You grew up overseas.
I say he speaks like 4 languages. So.
Yeah.
Well, I think there was something that came of that. He had Ronnie Turioff as I had Ronnie Turioff as a teammate. Oh no, that was French for Tony Parker.
Paul Gasol and him
Yeah.
would speak in the.
He's fluent in Spanish. I know that, and Italian.
He's fluent in Spanish
they-
and
Italian.
Yeah.
They spoke in Spanish on the court, so
Yeah.
everybody else could know what they were doing. That's awesome.
And he made Ronnie Turioff teach him French to be able to talk shit to Tony
Yeah.
Parker.
Yeah. My curtain call is a day late and a dollar short, but it's to myself, damn it.
Yes, that's
Celebrate me. So,
Happy birthday! Thank y'all for tuning in.
You didn't wear the. You
Thank
y'all
y'all for tuning in. We'll be back live. Jay Mitch will not be here next week.
yeah, I'm out.
He's
I'll
out
see
for
you guys
the
in
whole
a
week. He's doing some bigger things that he needs to do. It's required for his life.
Growing up stuff.
So he needs to do it. He'll be back the week after that, I believe.
I'm
But
out as well.
We'll be here. You're not out.
No.
you're not. We'll be back here Monday live from 6 to 8 p.m. Thank you for watching Mik'd. We're brought to you by Sterling Automotive. And we will see you next week. Enjoy the weekend. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Hey, go.
We got a dog.
He's having a good day. Where's he at? Come here.
Need more dogs.
Here you go.